Yo, you wanna know how the money got here? Sit down, let me tell you something real. Yo, dirty hands, dirty money. That's the only kind I know. Born in the back of a building where the cold winds blow. Father gone before my teeth even grew in straight. Mama working double shifts just to keep us from the plate being empty. You understand what I mean? 14 years old and I already seen things obscene. First time I held the product, felt the power in my palm. Couldn't go to school no more. Had to stay calm, stay focused, stay hungry, stay sharp on the block. The corner store owner started locking up his lock when he saw us coming. Yeah, we knew what that meant. Respect earned through fear when respect ain't been lent. Dirty money in the mattress, dirty hands counting slow. Every bill got a story, every scar got a show. Dirty hands, dirty money, that's the testament. Dirty hands built this empire from the government's neglect. Every dollar earned in darkness carries someone's pain. Dirty hands, dirty money pouring down like rain. Second summer on the block, I moved up in the chain. Started running bigger packages through the acid rain. Plastic bags and rubber bands and counting in the stairwell. Look out on the roof, sending signals when the law failed. 3 close calls, first time the police ran a sweep. Second time a rival spotted me half asleep. Third time my own man tried to take my whole stash. Left them with a message and I took back my cash. Dirty hands doing dirty work in dirty weather. The whole crew holding tight, we supposed to stay together. But money makes the weakest links reveal themselves fast. You learn who's real and who's fake, and the lessons don't last long enough for some. They gone before the wisdom sets in. Dirty hands, dirty money, that's how it all began. Dirty hands, dirty money, that's the testament. Dirty hands built this empire from the governance neglect. Every dollar earned in darkness carries someone's pain. Dirty hands, dirty money pouring down like rain. 10 years deep, and I'm still counting at the table. Still wondering if I'll ever manage to be stable. Stable meaning alive past 35 in this game. The percentage dropping yearly. Everybody knows my name, for all the wrong and all the right reasons. Survived 3 winters, 4 summers, countless bleeding seasons. Buried 6 men who I call my brothers and my kin. Dirty hands at every funeral, touching coffin tin. The money piles up and the soul depletes proportional. Every comfort purchased with a cost that ain't emotional. It's physical, it's permanent, it's carved into your bone. Dirty hands, dirty money, and I'm doing it alone. Because the people who I trusted with the product and the weight either snitched or got swept up or met an early fate. Dirty hands washed in cold water every night before sleep. The stains don't come out, that's a promise that I keep. Yeah. You wanna know how the money got here? Sit down. Yeah. Rats in the ceiling, I can hear them move at night. Then walls in this building keeping nothing from the light. The neighbor arguing with a man again through the plaster. Sirens down the street getting closer, getting faster. This is the soundtrack of a childhood that nobody asked for. Grew up in the hallway cause the apartment was the last door. Last door on the left, 4th floor, no elevator working. Heat cut off in January, death in the dark lurking. Rats in the ceiling, roaches in the cabinet, mice in the stove. Yeah, the city just abandoned it. Filed the complaints 3 times, landlord never showed. Code violations stacked up heavy as the snow. But we stay, where you gon' go when you got nothing? When the whole neighborhood is dealing with the same suffering. So you adapt, you survive, you become the thing that thrives in the dark and in the cold. That's how you stay alive. Rats in the ceiling, that's the lullaby I know. Rats in the ceiling, that's where I was born to grow. Every wall is thin and every night is long. Rats in the ceiling, turn me hard and strong. The building was a jungle with its own ecosystem. 3rd floor, stick-up kids running their own system. 2nd floor, an old man who never left his room. Watched through peephole every day expecting his doom. 1st floor, the super who was dealing on the side. Basement, where the bodies of old secrets tried to hide. We knew the building's entire criminal geography better than any teacher ever mapped out history. By 8 years old, I had a mental floor plan clear. Which apartments to avoid and which ones to go near. Knew which door had a shotgun behind it. 4B, knew which door had nothing but an old woman's rosary. The building breathed and sweated and it groaned through the night. Rats in the ceiling making sure you never felt alright. Never comfortable, never settled, always ready to move. That survival instinct, that became my groove. Rats in the ceiling, that's the lullaby I know. Rats in the ceiling, that's where I was born to grow. Every wall is thin and every night is long. Roll past the building slow, watch them gut it. Luxury condos putting on a show. $2,000 a month for what we paid. $250 roach fill. The rats in the ceiling replaced by yoga mats and Goodwill. The same concrete bones dressed up in stainless steel. The same cold hallways, but they covered up the rail. Painted over everything we scratched into those walls. Every name, every date, every memory that falls. I sat outside and watched the woman with a latte in her. She looked right through me like I wasn't in the center of the whole story that made this building what it is. Before it became her aesthetic and her biz. Rats in the ceiling, I wonder if they still up there. Living in the insulation, breathing luxury air. Surviving just like us, adapting to the new world. Rats in the ceiling. Let the story be unfurled. Yeah. Ma. The block don't. Yeah. The block don't forgive, and the block don't forget. Every death recorded in the ledger of blood and sweat. You show weakness once, that moment is immortal. Every eye on that corner saw you stumble at the portal. Portal meaning the line between respected and done, between the one who holds the power and the one who runs. Made a bad call on a Tuesday, cost me 2 men. Swore I'd never make the same mistake again. But the block keeps score without a pencil or a page. The block is a living thing that accumulates its rage over generations of the same repeated errors. The same young faces becoming the same old terrors. Growing up too fast in the classroom or the curb. Every lesson taught in violence, every lesson served. Cold on a ceramic plate with no apology. The block don't forget, that's the theology.
The block don't forget
what the block is saying.
The block don't forget. The block don't forget.
You know what I mean.
Every sin committed here
is etched in stone.
The block don't forget. The block don't forget.
The block is home. Yeah. I watched the kid catch a violation for a look. Just a look, the wrong guys reading the wrong book. Wrong territory, wrong posture, wrong color on his back. The block interpreted his presence as an attack. He was 12, just cutting through to the store for chips. Instead he caught a mouthful from knuckles and fists. That's the block's justice system. No appeal, no review. Sentenced on the spot for what the block decided you represent, or threaten, or disrespect, or undermine. 12 years old, can't understand where those lines define. I watched and did nothing, that's my sin on the ledger. My name recorded next to Wiz on the block's register. Years go by and that kid came back different and hard. The block's education carved his lesson in his yard. The block don't forgive, but the block is a teacher. The most brutal and effective and remorseless creature.
The block don't forget
what the block is saying.
The block don't forget. The block don't forget.
You know what I mean.
Every sin committed here
is etched in stone.
The block don't forget. The block don't forget.
The block is home. Yeah. 20 years of watching cycles repeat themselves clean. Same corner, different faces, but the same evergreen. Structure of control, the same hierarchy present. The top feeds on the bottom, that's the fundamental lesson. The block accepts new blood and swallows it completely. Digests the personality and spits it out neatly. Shaped into what the corner needs to function today. A soldier, a runner, a lookout, or a straight. The straight being the one who thinks they can walk away. The block hunts the straight and brings them back to the gray. The gray being the middle state between alive and gone, where most of us exist just trying to hold on. The block don't forgive, but I wonder sometimes late if the block itself is trapped behind its own gate, prisoner of its own code, its own unwritten rules. The block don't forgive, but the block don't choose.
The block don't forget. But the block don't choose.
The Hollow Point Sermon, preached on the corner at midnight. Congregation of the desperate assembled in dim light. Every face a testimony what survival costs. Every eye a catalog of everything they've lost. The preacher don't use a Bible. The preacher uses evidence, spin casings on the concrete, spelling out the sentences. Chapter 1, don't speak to people you don't know. Chapter 2, the money must continue to flow. Chapter 3, your loyalty is measured in your silence. Chapter 4, the answer to all questions here is violence. Not preach with joy, but preach with the exhaustion of the truth. The Hollow Point sermon is the only church I knew. Grew up on these scriptures written in the air by hands that carry weight that no child should bear. Every lesson punctuated hard, delivered without grace. The Hollow Point sermon, welcome to this place.
Hollow Point sermon.
This is the only word.
Hollow Point sermon. Hollow Point sermon.
The only truth I heard.
No redemption in these verses.
No redemption in these verses. No salvation in this song.
Hollow Point sermon.
Been going on too long. Yeah. The deacon of the block schooled me up at age 11. Told me straight, this corner ain't the road to heaven, but heaven is a concept for the comfortable and blessed. We dealing with the earthly, put that other to rest. He showed me how the product moved from hand to hand, how the money cycle back up to the promised land. The promised land, being the men above the block, the men who never touched it, always behind the lock of a boardroom or a suburb or a restaurant upscale, while we standing in the cold hoping not to go to jail. The hierarchy invisible but felt in every transaction. The Hollow Point sermon preaches about the subtraction of your future for someone else's gain, the subtraction of your freedom for someone else's chain. I understood the sermon, but I was already inside, too deep in the machine to simply step aside.
Hollow Point sermon.
This is the only word.
Hollow Point sermon. Hollow Point sermon.
The only truth I heard.
No redemption in these verses.
No redemption in these verses. No salvation in this song.
Hollow Point sermon.
Been going on too long. The sermon got delivered to a kid named Marcus last spring. 22 years old, had everything, could have been a king of his own life. Smart, ambitious, trying to get out, but the block doesn't release without a debt paid out. They said he owed from 3 years back, a debt he didn't know. The record keeping in the streets is not for show. They pulled the ledger out and pointed at his name. Marcus stood there understanding there's no claim, no court to go to, no appeal, no process, just a Hollow Point sermon in all its coldness. They preached to Marcus on a Thursday evening late. I heard the sermon echo off the building great. Woke up the whole block with its final punctuation. Hollow Point sermon, that's the congregation. The congregation of the lost and left behind. The Hollow Point sermon plays on repeat in my mind.
The concrete coffin, every city builds them different. Some are towers, some are projects, some are tenements distant from the eye of anyone who doesn't have to live inside the concrete coffin where the broken and the bold reside. 8 floors of pressure stacked on 8 floors more. Every apartment ceiling tight, another closing door. On opportunity, on movement, on escape velocity. The concrete coffin has a gravitational ferocity that pulls you back each time you think you broke and clear. The address on your record, keeping employers in fear. The zip code on your application, closing every gate. The concrete coffin, inescapable as fate. I ran once, got 3 blocks before the weight returned. The invisible chain around the ankle, lesson learned. You carry where you come from even when you're gone. The concrete coffin follows, it won't leave you alone. Concrete coffin. Built before I was born. Concrete coffin. Weathered and worn, every crack in every wall knows my name. Concrete coffin, we all play the same game. Floor by floor, the coffin has its layers understood. Ground floor, the hustle zone, the public interaction good. First floor, the mothers with the strollers navigating broke. Second floor, the gambling and the card games and the smoke. Third floor, the man with the connection to the wake. Fourth floor, the family trying hard to make it straight. Fifth floor, the old heads watching everything go wrong. Sixth floor, the young ones singing somebody's song. Seventh floor, where nobody goes past 10 at night. Eighth floor, where the rooftop holds the last of the light. The last light being literal, the rooftop at dawn, where everyone goes to breathe before the coffin walls press on. I spent my mornings on that rooftop counting years, watching the sun climb over buildings through the tears. Not crying tears, just cold wind hit hit your eyes that way. The concrete coffin starts another measured day. Concrete coffin, built before I was born. Concrete coffin, weathered and worn. Every crack in every wall knows my name. Concrete coffin, we all play the same game. They demolished building 7 on a Tuesday morning clear. I watched the implosion from 3 blocks. Stood right here where I stood at 7, watching it go up, or watching it already standing. Filling my cup of context, cup of character, cup of who I became. Watching the implosion felt like watching my own name get erased from a document that mattered to someone once. The building fell in 11 seconds, that's the dunce. The dunce cap on the system that built it to begin and filled it up with human beings. Let them sink within 11 seconds. 40 years of lives reduced to dust. Concrete coffin turning into concrete trust. Fun for luxury development on the clear ground. 40 years of human history not making a sound. The concrete coffin gone, but I still carry it inside. The concrete coffin is the place where my whole self resides. No witness, no crime, that's the first law of the street. Before there was a constitution, this was the creed to keep. Keep your mouth locked like a vault on what your eyes recorded, cause the things seen in these streets cannot be afforded. Cannot be afforded to be spoken in the wrong room being anywhere the wrong ears consume your words and weaponize them and deliver them back cold. Dressed in legal language, watch your future get sold. I learned this at an age when most kids learn to read. Read the room before you speak, that's the fundamental creed. Who's in the car outside? Who's new on the block today? Who's been talking to who? Who changed the way they play? All of this surveillance is conducted by the low, by the ones with everything to lose and everything to know. No witness, no crime, simple as a prayer. Complex as everything that living here means to bear.
No witness, no crime.
The code that kept us breathing.
No witness, no crime.
The code worth believing.
Every eye looks forward and every mouth stays shut. No witness, no crime.
That's what we're about.
That's what we're about.
I witnessed things that hollowed out a part of me permanent. Watched the man get his respect removed. I call it deterrent for anyone who thought the rules didn't apply. The rule being, don't reach into another man's supply chain of the block is sacred and protected. Anyone who tests that boundary gets corrected. Hard in public so the lesson spreads efficient through the whole neighborhood. The message self-sufficient, doesn't need a newspaper or a broadcast or a town hall. The street curriculum delivers to the mall. I witnessed and I turned and walked back to my building. Closed my door and sat with what my brain was spilling. Being the images that come at 3 a.m. that come regardless of how many years since then. No witness, no crime, technically on paper clean, but the brain don't file paperwork on what the eyes have seen.
No witness, no crime.
The code that kept us breathing.
No witness, no crime.
The code worth believing.
Every eye looks forward and every mouth stays shut. No witness, no crime.
That's what we're about.
That's what we're about.
The detective knocked on my door 3 times in 2 years. Each time I looked through the peephole, managing my fears, managed them completely. Opened up with nothing on my face, don't know nothing, wasn't there, don't recognize this place. The photograph he showed me, of course I knew the face, knew the name, the history, the entire case. But the code is not negotiable in moments of truth. The code was written in the blood of too much youth. Too many people who forgot the code for 1 weak second and disappeared before the next morning beckon. I chose the code, I live with what the code requires. The sleepless nights, the conscience that never retires. No witness,
no crime.
The law that supersedes every other law that anyone else believes. Out here, the Constitution is a foreign document. The only law that counts is what the block is meant. This is a motherfucking peace in.
Stairwell negotiations. Yeah. Stairwell negotiations, where the real deals get made. Not in the boardroom, in the cold concrete shade of a stairwell that smells like ammonia and damp. Where the light bulb's been busted since July. No lamp needed. These negotiations run on gut feeling, on the reading of another man's intent in his dealing. Dealing style, dealing history, dealing reputation. The stairwell is the venue for this ancient institution. Business conducted without minutes or agenda, without lawyers or handshakes, just the surrender of one party to another's terms, or the counteroffer. Counteroffers here aren't verbal, they get softer or they get harder, depending on the leverage held. And the leverage here is everything, blood and wealth. Stairwell negotiations, I've sat at that table, walked away with more than promised when I was able, walked away with less when the terms weren't in my favor. The stairwell don't do charity, it doesn't do a favor. Stairwell negotiations, no paper, no pen. Stairwell negotiation, do it again. Every agreement sealed with a look, now out of hand. Stairwell negotiation, you understand. One particular negotiation I recall with clarity. A Tuesday, November, the stairwell full of charity. Charity meaning cold, the winter had come early. Breath visible, tension visible, everything clearly. A man I call all had a problem with our territory. Not a new story, the oldest and most gory story in the book of every block on every coast, where the line is drawn and both sides push the most. He came to negotiate with three behind him standing. I came with two and the full weight of understanding that I couldn't lose this one at all. Couldn't show the slightest crack in any wall. The negotiation lasted 40 minutes in the cold. By the end, R and I had worked out something bold, divided the geography with a precision unexpected. Both sides walked out with their interests protected. The stairwell witnessed this and kept the silence proper. No documentation of the meeting, nothing improper. Improperly recorded is the only way to be clean. Stairwell negotiations, nothing that was seen. The stairwell negotiations, no paper, no pen. Stairwell negotiation, do it again. Every agreement sealed with a look, now out of hand. Stairwell negotiation, you understand. Not every stairwell session ends with both men walking. I've been in that stairwell when the option stopped it talking. When the talking failed and something else was communicated in the language that the stairwell had facilitated for decades before me. In the same concrete acoustic, stairwell negotiations can get brutal, can go from verbal treaty to a different kind of speech. And the time it takes a reasonable man to reach for patience. But patience runs out in a close space when both parties reading fear and anger on each face. I walked out of stairwells with blood on my jacket. I walked out of stairwells in the silence absolute of a man who handled business and will carry it forever in the wake behind his eyes in every kind of weather. Stairwell negotiations, that was my education, my MBA earned in the stairwell of that station. Of that station. Yeah. Cold plate, empty house. That's the first memory clear. Coming home to a kitchen with nothing, that's the fear. The fear that never left regardless of the success. Even now I check the refrigerator, can't suppress the habit built in childhood of inventory and food. Counting what's available, that's the survival mood. A mood that calcifies inside you young and stays like calcium deposits from the childhood haze. Mother gone before the light came up most days. Working night shifts in a city that never pays enough for people who were born in our position. The working poor arithmetic, that's our tradition. Cold plate left from yesterday, eat it in the dark. The cold plate and the empty house, that's where it starts. The understanding that nobody's coming to save. Nobody's coming with abundance to the grave. Grave being the address, the building, the block, the trap. The cold plate, empty house, that's the map.
Cold plate, empty house,
that was home to me.
that was home to me. Cold plate, empty house,
Made me what I be.
made me what I be. Hunger is a teacher that no school replaces.
Cold plate,
Empty house left its marks and traces.
yeah.
The hunger made me sharp in ways that comfort couldn't. Made me see the angles that the satisfied just wouldn't. Wouldn't think to look for the side door, the margin, the overlooked opportunity, the unofficial bargain. The hungry eye scans everything for what can be used, for what could be converted, what could be refused into something useful. Even waste becomes resource. When you've eaten cold rice for a week, you stay the course. I watched the comfortable waste without a second thought, and cataloged everything they threw away and brought it back to something useful. That's the poor man's art. Cold plate, empty house philosophy at heart of every hustle I ever ran on these streets. Came from the cold plate, came from those cold eats. Every empire started with a man who needed more. Cold plate, empty house, that opened every door.
Cold plate, empty house,
That was home to me.
that was home to me. Cold plate, empty house,
Made me what I be.
made me what I be. Hunger is a teacher that no school replaces.
Cold plate,
Empty house left its marks and traces.
I feed my kids now like I'm compensating back with the refrigerator full. I check it going forward, going backward in my mind. Every hungry Tuesday, every Friday dinner that was just a cup of soup day. My oldest looked at me last winter, asked me why I buy 3 times more than we could ever apply to any reasonable week of eating as a family. I sat there for a second with the answer running past me. Then I told him straight, cause once it wasn't enough, once the plate was cold in bed and the house was rough and empty in a way that wasn't just about the food, empty of the safety and the warmth and the mood that children need to grow up believing the world is okay. Cold plate, empty house, you carry that every day. You carry it and feed it into everything you make. The cold plate, empty house, that's what's at stake.
That's what's at stake. That's what's at stake. That's what's at stake.
The landlord drives a BMW past our building slow, checking on his property, the property we know is home. The word he never used for where we live. Investment is the word, that's all he'll ever give. That code exchanges or the language that exists between the one who owns the walls and the one who persists inside them. Paying rent on time like it's a privilege, like living somewhere safe is at the edge and limit of what someone like us deserves from civilization. The landlord got his buildings through a generation of policies that made it cheap to buy our block, when our block was left to rot, when nobody'd unlock the capital and credit needed. Unless you were a type, the landlord fits the type, and he collected every pipe and boiler and foundation at the bargain rate of a neighborhood where nobody controls their fate. The landlord bleeds too, I want him to know.
The landlord bleeds too.
The landlord bleeds too, same blood below.
The same blood below.
The same red underneath the tailor's sleeve.
The landlord bleeds too.
And he will bleed. Yo, I'm not threatening, I'm philosophizing cold on the nature of the power structure centuries old. The man at the top bleeds when circumstances turn. The Roman landlord bled when Rome began to burn. The feudal landlord bled when the serfs found their backbone. Every system of extraction leaves its people alone, long enough and angry enough and hungry enough to act. The landlord bleeds. That's historical fact, not vengeance, not violence. Just the pendulum swings. Every empire built on others' backs eventually rings out with the sound of its own contradiction. The landlord bleeds. That's not prediction, it's pattern recognition from 1,000 years of reading. What happens when the bottom stops its pleading and starts its calculating, starts its organizing slow? The landlord bleeds too, I want him to know. Landlord bleeds too, I want him to know.
The landlord bleeds too.
The landlord bleeds too, same blood below.
The same blood below.
The same red underneath the tailor's sleeve.
The landlord bleeds too.
And he will bleed. Last year he raised the rent again. Third
sometime in 4. I watched 6 families pack their lives out the front door. 6 families who have been there since before I can remember. 6 different versions of my mother. Every December putting up the same plastic tree in the same window frame. Now those windows show the blank of someone else's claim. Someone else who pays the premium for proximity to the city that was built on all of our industry, on our labor and our culture and our music and our pain. The landlord monetized our neighborhood, our rain, our particular rain that falls on this particular block, selling authenticity while turning every lock against the people who created what he's selling. The landlord bleeds, and that's what I'm selling. Not with anger, but with knowledge of how stories end. The landlord bleeds around the very next bend. Switchblade philosophy, flick it open fast. Every argument ended before the first becomes the last. The philosophy of the blade is simple and direct. No ambiguity, no footnotes, no intellectual respect. For nuance, the blade is the most honest instrument. It cuts through all the language in the argument, gets straight to the point. The point being literal, the code still reality of what's existential. On these streets where theory meets the practice hard, where every philosophical position leaves a scar. I didn't choose the switchblade as my metaphor for living. The switchblade chose me, took what I was given in terms of desperation and necessity and youth, and sharpened it into a functional, brutal truth. Switchblade philosophy, carry it everywhere. The sharpest minds survive what others cannot bear. Switchblade philosophy, cold and clean and quick. Switchblade philosophy makes the argument stick. Every word a blade edge, every sentence a cut. Switchblade philosophy, straight to the gut. I debated men with diplomas and with titles long, men who thought their credentials made their argument strong enough to discount what I brought to the table. Discount my experience as if experience unable to produce the same conclusion that they textbooks hold. But the switchblade philosophy cuts through bought and sold. Academic positioning, the street curriculum wins when the conversation moves from where it always begins, from theory to the actual, from the map to the ground. The switchblade philosophy makes the sharpest sound when it hits the surface of reality direct. No cushioning, no softening, no intellectual protect. I argued a professor once about the nature of crime. He had the data, I had the time, the actual time served, the actual cost paid. The switchblade philosophy, the arguments it made, left them revising its conclusions by the end. Switchblade philosophy, that's the trend. Switchblade philosophy, cold and clean and quick. Switchblade philosophy makes the argument stick. Every word a blade edge, every sentence a cut. Switchblade philosophy, straight to the gut. The sharpest minds I knew never went to school, never sat in any classroom learning someone's rule. They learned from the streets, uncompromising curriculum with wrong answers of consequences, not just pendulum. Grades that swing and reset at the semester's end. Out here the wrong answer means you don't transcend. You don't get a second chance to reconsider the problem. The switchblade philosophy, you either solve them or you don't. And the consequences immediate. No grade curve, no extra credit, no remediate. I respect the educated, let me make that plain. But switchblade philosophy cuts through the vein of every comfortable assumption that the comfortable hold about people like us, about the young and bold who grew up where the only education that was real was the switchblade philosophy. Sharpen on the steel. Feel it. What's the switchblade philosophy? Sharpened on the steel.
Unmarked bills. Unmarked graves. Yeah. Unmarked bills, unmarked graves. The parallel is clean, both untraceable, both testify to things unseen. The bill passed through 100 transactions dirty. Each exchange a confession, each carrier a juryman. Jury by the street long before any court. The unmarked bill carries more history than it ought to carry. Stained with every hand that held it previous. Every desperate deal, the calendar of grievous commerce that sustains and kills simultaneously. The same economy that feeds my kids steals their future heinously. I understand this contradiction, live inside it daily. The unmarked bill in my pocket, arguing with me lately. Arguing its origin, arguing its destination, arguing the human cost of every transaction. Unmarked bills, unmarked graves, they share the same feature. The system that produced them is the same creature.
Unmarked bills, unmarked graves.
Count them in the dark.
Unmarked bills, unmarked graves.
Everyone leaves a mark.
The money moves and the bodies rest.
Unmarked bills.
Unmarked bills, unmarked graves.
Yeah, we know the rest. The grave is unmarked because the family couldn't afford to stone the ceremony, the official record of a law. The law being a citizen with rights and recognition. The unmarked grave is the final position of someone who the system processed and expelled from the accountant, from the record, from the held collective memory of a city moving fast. The unmarked grave says this person came and passed without the city's acknowledgement or ceremony. Just a number in the ledger, that's the testimony. I know 3 men in unmarked graves, 3 men I love, 3 men who got processed and expelled and shoved into the statistics that the politicians cite when they talk about our neighborhood from a safe height. Unmarked bills paid for those graves, the circular economy. The unmarked bills, unmarked graves, that's our astronomy.
Unmarked bills, unmarked graves.
Count them in the dark.
Unmarked bills, unmarked graves.
Everyone leaves unmarked.
The money moves and the bodies rest.
Unmarked bills.
Unmarked bills,
Yeah.
unmarked graves.
We know the rest. I've been clean for 7 years. The bills are marked now, taxes filed, the income declared. I take the bow, the bowl being the humbling of the man who made it through the transition between the unmarked and the accounted to. But making that transition doesn't erase the archive, doesn't erase the unmarked graves, doesn't revive the 3 men that I mentioned, doesn't retroactively legitimize the years of living proactively outside of every system that the straight world recognizes. The transition is real, but the past just surprises you sometimes in the quiet of a regular day. The unmarked bill flashes in the memory, away from the present, back to the cold count in the stairwell, back to the graves with no stones, back to the tale. Tale of 2 economies running parallel. Unmarked bills, unmarked graves. That's my story to tell. Love, last man standing on the corner after all these years. Watch them fall before the fleet, nobody volunteers. Volunteers to hold the ground, when holding ground means cost, means counting up the years and counting what was lost. I'm the last man standing, not from strength alone, from something else, from stubbornness, from being too grown into this concrete to be pulled out clean. The roots go 30 years deep in the soil obscene, the obscene soil of the corner where the poison grows, where the transaction never stops and the wind always blows. Cold from October through to April without mercy. Standing on this corner made my constitution sturdy, made my tolerance for discomfort something legendary. Among the men who came and went through this ordinary, extraordinary corner of an unremarkable street. Last man standing, comfortable in the sleep.
Last man standing on the corner.
I remain.
Last man standing on the corner.
Through the rain, yeah.
Every face that used to stand here now is gone.
Love.
Last man standing on the corner.
Carrying on. Yeah, the first man who fell was Darnell, 97, 19 years old. Somebody decided on his heaven being early and his reason being debt. A debt of $1,400, that's the price he met. $1,400, that's the math of his subtraction. The corner felt his absence in every transaction after carried Darnell's ghost. We felt the most in winter, Darnell felt the cold the most. Always complaining about the temperature, always cold. Now the corner holds his memory. 17 years old, the second man who fell was Marcus. 2003, didn't fall to violence, fell to the penitentiary. 15 years in, he came out different and distant. The corner that he left don't exist in this instant. The corner evolved past what he knew he couldn't fit. Last man standing, watch Marcus try and find the quit.
Last man standing on the corner.
I remain.
Last man standing on the corner.
through the rain.
Every face that used to stand here now is gone. Last man standing on the corner,
Carrying on, yeah, look. I could list them corner posts, the names, the dates, the circumstances, the particular games that the universe was playing when it took each one away. But the list would take longer than I got today. The point is I'm still here, still breathing, still standing, still on this corner, with my history commanding. A certain kind of respect from the new ones coming through, the ones who seeing me, the proof that you can make it too. Whatever this is, surviving long enough to be the institutional memory of what this corner used to be. The last man standing isn't victorious. Let me be clear, the last man standing is the one who bought his years with a currency that can't be spoken in polite company. The last man standing on this corner at night is not a success story, it's a cautionary one. The last man standing. Watch too many beneath the gun.
last man standing.
Punch into the beats. When the devil stops smiling, that's when you should worry. Yeah. When the devil stops smiling, that's when you should worry. The smile means he still sees value in your hurry. Your hurry being the running, the grinding, the ambition. The devil loves the hungry man, that's his tradition. Feeds on the desperate fuel of somebody's dream. The dream being legitimate, but the method being extreme. When the devil stops smiling, it means the account is settled. Means he got what he came for. Every plan was meddled with his fingerprints. Every shortcut that you took, every corner cut, go back and look at the ledger. The devil kept it better than you did. Kept records of every compromise since you were a kid. When the devil stops smiling, he doesn't need to chase. He already owns the equity. He already owns the space inside the chest where something used to live. When the devil stops smiling, that's all he'll give. When the devil stops smiling, the deal is done. When the devil stops smiling, there's nowhere to run. Every price you paid is now collected in full. When the devil stops smiling, that's the pull. I've seen men at the moment when the devil stopped to smile. Watch the recognition cross their face. Took a while for it to register what the expression meant on the face of the thing that all their years was spent. Feeding the moment the transaction flipped its direction from the devil collecting to the devil's own correction of the record, wiping what he owed back to zero. The man who was the player becomes the non-hero, becomes the settlement, becomes the paid account, becomes the cautionary tale that others discount at their peril. I watched this happen close enough to understand the mechanism, close enough to bluff. No, I wasn't bluffing. I was cataloging the pattern of the devil smiling when it starts to flatten into something else, into that neutral waiting face that says the time for smiling is behind us. Know your place. When the devil stops smiling, the deal is done. When the devil stops smiling, there's nowhere to run. Every price you paid is now collected in full. When the devil stops smiling, that's the pull. My own deal with the devil started early, I can trace it back to the first decision where I chose to face it. Chose to face the corner over every other option. The devil smiled so wide at my adoption of his program. Smiled at my efficiency, at my willingness to operate with proficiency inside his system, doing what the system does. The devil's smile is warmest when the hustle buzzes. I bought my time back dollar by difficult dollar. Bought it back in years of grind, sweat and collar. Earned enough legitimate to step outside the frame and watch the devil smile shift. It ain't the same since I extracted myself from the primary agreement. The smile got thinner,
There's a colder treatment not reserved for me. The one who got away partially. The devil stopped smiling, but I'm still breathing, actually. They say the devil's in the details. Out here the details are in the devil. Everything you see on this block, every crack in this concrete, every unmarked grave, every cold plate, every stairwell deal, that's the details. And the devil ain't stopped smiling yet. Not completely, but I see him thinking about it. Explicit.